Today, I want to talk about modes inside Cold War Zombies. And the reason I want to talk about them is because Outbreak just came out a couple weeks ago, and this was not only a new mode for zombies, but it was an incredibly new mode for zombies, right? Because if you think about modes in the past for zombies, they were still round-based, they were still survival, but they didn't really fundamentally change how you played zombies. Like, this was the one that fundamentally changed how you played zombies, and the only one that did that, except for the exception of, I'll just mention it because I know someone else is going to mention it, but like for the tortured path, yeah, that fundamentally changed how you played zombies. I get it. No one cares though. That was garbage. This is good, right? So either way, the Outbreak fundamentally changed how we played zombies, and it was really good at that too. Like, this mode isn't garbage. Like, normally when they tried different modes, they were rather garbage or just okay, right? Like Grief, people act like it was the coolest thing, but back then really nobody played it because it was just okay. It wasn't anything crazy. Turned was, okay. Nothing actually anybody played and stuff like that. So, stuff like that is just like, it's there. But Outbreak is finally like that one big mode that really changed it and people actually liked it. And because of that, I want to talk about other modes that could possibly come to Cold War Zombies, and I want to share a couple ideas with you, 4 in total. They're going to be based on rather Outbreak, Onslaught, or Firebase Z, the ideas that I have today. But I'd also love to hear your guys' thoughts for new modes that could possibly come to this game, and try to keep them realistic, but if you can't, I don't care, it's fine either. I'd love to hear them down in the comments, all your ideas for different modes. But either way, here are mine. And the first one I want to bring up is actually quite simple, and it's get those Onslaught maps, so Ruka, Gorlova, and Alpine, and turn those into, get me here, survival maps, right? So I know how I just mentioned that Outbreak fundamentally changed zombies and was insane and everything, but how about we undo that, right, and just turn them into survival maps? I know, but I mean, to be honest, what's the harm in it? Like, I don't really think of too many negatives. Yeah, it might be too easy because some areas are incredibly easy to train. I mean, I'm just thinking about that outskirts area of Ruka. Like, obviously it's going to be super easy to train there. It's probably have some OP camping spots and stuff like that. Like, I get all that, but I don't care, right? Like, who cares? I mean, already Easter eggs were nerfed to have a wider audience be able to play them, so why don't we just continue to nerf, like, the zombie game mode itself? Just make everything even easier. Even the maps themselves, like, you have like super easy training spots and super easy camping spots and stuff like that. So I don't really see the harm in doing this, and it makes a lot of sense because everything you need for a survival map is already on the map. You have the spawns figured out, which is, I would assume, the most difficult thing to do, and then you also have like all the weapons and everything else, and then also you have Pack Punch, the perk, or at least one perk machine, but that's all you need. You have the arsenal, you have the crafting table, wall buys, mystery box, and really everything you would need out of playing a survival game. And I think just converting them into survival maps wouldn't be a bad idea. I think it would be a great idea, in fact. I mean, the only things that you would have to do is just add some buyable doors, and I know making them on such a large map would be weird, but it's not too weird because all you can do is just add like a big old invisible or like those see-through walls that you just purchase, and also it disappears, stuff like that. Either way, I think it would be a great idea to convert these Outbreak maps into survival maps, just for the heck of it. I mean, why not? Why not? What's the harm in doing it? I don't know. Either way, the other idea is just that idea, except for Onslaught. Like, just turn the Onslaught maps, the multiplayer maps, and survival maps, just add some perks, pack a bunch in the door, or some doors to buy through, and just do that. Same idea, same thing, just get that, everything I said about Outbreak, and apply that to Onslaught, because, I mean, you got what I, again, would imagine the most difficult thing already done with those multiplayer maps, the zombie spawns. So if the zombie spawns are figured out, what's the harm in just turning a couple of them into Outbreak or to survival maps? And obviously you don't have to turn all of them, just turn the ones that work best as survival maps into survival maps. Of course, we would like to see some aesthetic changes, just small things, maybe the skybox, the lighting, just fit zombies a little bit more, but regardless, you don't have to. Either way, it's I think something that is very possible to do. Of course, I don't know how to make video games, so I don't know how actually difficult it is, but I can't imagine it's too difficult, especially with the love zombies has been getting, which I imagine because of that they're putting more effort into it. I don't think it would be too difficult, and these would be releases I would imagine for both Outbreak maps being converted to survival maps and Onslaught maps. I think you would just release these in those times where you know ahead of time, okay, it's going to be a downtime for zombies because we're going to be working on the next map at this time, so let's just have these survival maps ready to launch, and then whenever that downtime happens, release some survival maps. Would be a great idea if you ask me, but who knows. Either way, I think those would be cool. The next idea I have, and this is actually a bit more similar to what I originally even thought Outbreak was going to be to begin with, and this is when we first heard of Outbreak. This is more similar to that when we didn't know anything, and this is maybe adding some light MMO style play to this. And for people who don't know what that means, it just means you have multiple teams on the map, right? So you have like one set team that you're playing, that's my squad, and then you have another team you just randomly run into while you're in a game of Onslaught, or excuse me, Outbreak. And it could be in the Outbreak version of the game mode, or it can maybe be the survival potential ones that may be added. But either way, I think it would be cool just running into them. Maybe add some proximity chat for you could talk to these people too. That would be cool, I think. And stuff like that I think would just make it a little bit cooler. Of course, ideally you would want to adjust the Onslaught mode to work properly with an MMO style play. Maybe you have to add in things, you have to potentially work with other teams that you run into there or whatever. Or what if you make it to where it's a versus mode or type of a race type of deal thing, where you both spawn into, you and your team that is, spawn into a game of Outbreak, and then you race to do the same objectives, and whoever does them faster or a certain amount of time, or whoever can survive the longest doing the same amount of objectives or something like that, that would be really cool. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways they could execute it. Either way, they just got to figure out something to introduce this light MMO style of play to it. I'll leave Treyarch to figure out all the messy details because I'm too lazy to do that, and plus it wouldn't make a difference if I did them. So, I think it'd be a cool idea. Figure it out, Treyarch. If you do, I'd love to see it. Either way, moving on to the final mode that I would love to see inside zombies is something from Firebase Z, and this is something that I think is really, really cool, and I wish that they would do sooner rather than later, and I think there's a high possibility that this actually may happen. But if you guys remembered Firebase Z, do you guys remember that they had these things called assault rounds? Yeah, those were cool, right? Like, everybody pretty much likes assault rounds. So what if we just get those assault rounds and then always do those assault rounds, right? Like, what if we just turn a mode into just assault rounds? And imagine it like this. So the area you would be able to play would just be, let's imagine the data center inside Firebase Z. So you have the data center, you spawn in there, and all your perks, pack punch, and everything you would need is going to be inside that room. And then you go out, and every round would be an assault round. You always have to defend this place from the assault, obviously. Of course, the only ways to die is rather, you fail and they destroy the place, or maybe you die yourself. And I think that would be an incredibly fun mode. Just have this small area, the data center, the defense area, and that's it. And you just have to make it into a true tower defense mode where you just have to defend the tower and nothing else. That's all you have to do. Like, that's the original idea of zombies. It was supposed to be a tower defense mode, but obviously turned into more of a survival mode in the end, obviously. But I mean, to turn it into what it originally could have been, or the path zombie may have made originally, like turn it into a proper tower defense where you just one round you deal with a horde of zombies, and then just have a little downtime and then another horde. Just keep doing that. I think that would be a great idea. I was going to say crazy and great at the same time, so I said great, so that's cool. Either way, regardless, I think that this would be cool. Of course, I'm over here doing the Obama meme, where he's putting the award on himself. That's what I'm doing a lot of these times. I explain my idea. That would be a great idea. I get it, but still, I think it's a great idea to add in all these modes. But regardless, that's all I have to say here. Again, I love to hear your guys' thoughts and ideas for possible modes that could be added into them. I mean, you can keep them realistic, but I mean, if you don't want to, that's completely fine. If you just want to have this crazy idea that just, gets me all like, hyped for it, even though I know it's never going to come, I'd love to hear those down in the comments too. But regardless, that's about it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And laters, guys.